Hello, everyone. Welcome to LexTalk, World Talk Show presented by Clickaway Creators. Today, we have Dr. Sunanda Bharti with us. She has a rich experience of teaching at Law Center 1, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi, for the past 15 plus years. She has a number of published works to her credit on various aspects of intellectual property laws, fetal rights, and mediation. She is a project lead right now for Law Team in RISHII, that is Resources for Internationalization of Higher Educational Institutions in India, an international project under the Erasmus Plus program funded by the European Commission in collaboration with the University of Duesto, Bilbao, Spain, and Tuning Academy. RISHII focuses on India to address modernization and innovation in education, particularly cooperation on education and skills and mutual recognition of qualifications. This is to ensure that the learning outcomes remains globally relevant. 14 Indian HE institutions of different types and from different regions work towards this particular aim with 5 EU partners. Now, I will not, keep speaking about this because we have the, most wonderful person with us who's going to, elaborate her journey, and she'll tell you more facts about the same. Hello, Dr. Sunanda. How are you?
Hello, Bharti. I'm good.
I'm really, we're really glad that you're here, and we're really excited to know about your journey as a legal professional so far.
Yeah, sure, Bharti. So I did my undergraduation in commerce from the reputed Sri Ram College of Commerce, University of Delhi. And it is while doing my BCom honors that I was basically drawn towards mercantile laws, which was one of the subjects taught in the course, you know. And yes, over the period of 3 years, I was introduced to a variety of other laws, the income tax laws, a bit of trademark law in the marketing management subject. And so as a postgraduate course, choosing LLB, as in doing law, was an obvious kind of a choice. And I did my LLB from Campus Law Center, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. And yes, that is the place where I teach right now, though the center is different. But then, yes, it is in a way, life has come a full circle. Because I started my law journey as a student in the Faculty of Law, and now I'm back there, not as a student, but as a teacher. Then after completing my LLB, my interest in research basically, so to say, propelled me into doing LLM, which was a 2-year course for me. And after that, in fact, while I was doing my LLM, during a campus recruitment drive, I was offered a job as a researcher with LexisNexis India. And yes, I was delighted to take that offer because after all, it was, the most reputed law publishing house, so to say. And yes, so I joined as a researcher initially, and I was promoted quickly to the position of a legal editor, and then eventually as a team leader, where my task was to lead a group of editors working on Halsbury's Laws of India, which is a premium quality legal encyclopedia, and till this time. I was just acquiring knowledge, I mean, there was no sharing or no basically collaboration happening. It was yes, a fruitful and a personally enriching experience, but then I realized that nobody else was actually benefiting, right? And it is that urge to impart the learnings and the acquired knowledge to others that eventually led me to leave that very well-paying job and take up teaching in Law Center 1. So yes, I joined Law Center 1 under the Faculty of Law, University of Delhi way back in 2005. And yes, I have been here ever since. It has been more than, as you said rightly during the introduction, it has been more than 15 years of engaging with the youth from diverse backgrounds. Uh, it has been and it is still a highly satisfying and intellectually stimulating, you know, um, place to be, because there is never a dull moment.
Wonderfully explained, Dr. Sunanda. So, after talking about your journey as a legal professional, tell us about your most memorable turning points or maybe milestones of your career, and what are your key takeaways from there?
Right, sure. So, first would be definitely when I realized that the second best thing that you can do with knowledge is to share it. The first best thing, of course, is to acquire it in the first place, uh, which is, as I shared already, that something that prompted me to start my journey as a law teacher. So at Law Center 1, back in 2005, that is, classes were engaged from 2 p.m. till 9:30 in the night, right? So consequently, so it almost operated as an evening law center, and it catered to a lot of office going crowd. So the students were already into, very high profile jobs. They were IS officers, they were chartered accountants, they were company secretaries, etc. And so learning in a way was, in the right sense of the term, was a two-way traffic. And it is this realization that marked a turning point in my life. I realized that, or the rather the better expression would be that wisdom, so to say, dawned upon me that if I pose and project myself as the only repository of knowledge and take others to be empty vessels, I would miserably fail as a teacher. And yeah, it has in ways more than one modeled me into what I am today. And yes, those are the two learnings that keep me going till now, as in at least sharing and collaborating, building capacities, and learning from each other. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunanda. I'm sure people, watching this video would learn a lot, and they will get to know more about you with this video. How do you look at copyright, designs, and trademark law in 2021, and how do you think it's going to change 5 years down the line?
Copyright, designs, and trademarks. Well, Bharti, I must say that it's a really an intense question. But I'll try and answer it in that order only, as in I'll take copyright first, and then I'll move to designs briefly, and then trademark law,
Yes.
perhaps touch upon it.
Yes.
Yeah. So for copyright laws, in my assessment, a change is, just on the anvil. Because if there is one law that has been really affected, deeply affected by the advent of the so-called digital age, it is copyright. And two challenges that I foresee right now are, one is, of course, in relation to digitally created works. Whether the artificial intelligence, the AI that created it, would be recognized as the author of that, the creator of that work, or not. Only time will tell. But then, in my assessment, yes, the world is definitely moving towards that. And yeah, so first is definitely in relation to digitally created works, and the second big challenge is how the presence of all works on the internet, or so to say, the possibility that all sorts of copyrightable subject matter can be easily put on the internet and shared. How this is going to be regulated is for us to see. And as I see it, it has already thrown the copyright industry totally out of gear. And in the coming times might just make the existence of intermediaries, say the traditional book publishers and the national broadcasters, almost redundant, or at least dilute their rights to a large extent. Say, for example, if I take the case of literary works only, authors, they might just go ahead and publish on their own. Uh, as it is, I mean, whether we like it or not, most of what we call research is no longer dependent on going to the library and sifting through the books. So it is largely internet based research that we are doing right now. And in the near future, yes, this need is going to go critical. You know, if the authors want their works to be read and appreciated, they will eventually have to make sure that it is online their set, on the internet. And likewise, communication to the public might happen without involving broadcasters. Right now, also, this is like a private platform on which we are talking right now. Yes, through self-recording or live streaming, things might just happen, and people are likely to take charge of their own creations, because technology, after all, has made all this possible. So yes, this is definitely something that I foresee about copyright. For designs, I'll be very brief. Again, computer generated designs, might just take the requirement of originality and novelty to a whole new level. Because after all, minor changes and minor or simple to complex changes are possible with the help of if we are working with artificial intelligence, right? Likewise, in trademarks, uh, uh, I can surely say that we are likely to move in the direction of achieving a greater recognition to non-traditional trademarks, because the market for regular ones is like fast getting saturated. In the sense that the trademark proprietors, in order to just make that indelible and distinct impact on the minds of the consumers, they are likely to resort to using non-conventional trademarks like sound, smell, taste, and position marks, right? And this might end up eventually, of course, stretching the existing legal definition of trademark. Because presently, at least in the Indian scenario, the Indian trademarks law does not recognize non-conventional trademarks in as many words in black letter law, right? Yeah, yeah. So that's it.
Well, I do not have much information about so many things, but when you were talking about trademark, it completely made sense to me that uh, I don't know. I would like to also ask you that isn't this going like really crazy? Like with things are going like right now, the things are going with trademark. It's going absolutely bizarre.
Absolutely, absolutely. And given the fact that we have had, as in more than a couple of cases in the recent past only, wherein sound trademarks have been, through courtcraft or whatever you may call it, the advocates and the court system, they have managed to pull pull in sound trademarks also within the fold of trademark law, uh, insofar as getting them registered is concerned. And likewise, I see a similar change happening in relation to position trademarks. Say Adidas has recently, got that three striped uh, sort of logo or three striped label of theirs, and so they have chosen this position on the arms and position on their the sides of their tracksuit, and they say that yes, this is their position mark. So they not only have chosen their logo, they have also chosen the position where that logo would be put. So yes, it's mind boggling.
Absolutely. It is mind-boggling. So you are from academics, and education sector has been your home for more than 15 years. So what do you see as the biggest challenge to this particular sector that COVID has highlighted, and how did you overcome the challenge?
Yeah, so Bharti, to be very frank, I feel that the biggest challenge is yet to come. You know,
Oh my
uh,
God.
that is what I think. Because yeah, some would say that that aligning yourselves, as in aligning oneself to teaching and learning through the online medium was daunting, and it was difficult. But you see, most of the education sector, as in substantially speaking, has successfully has managed to adapt to that change very quite quickly, whether it is through MS Teams, or whether it is Google Meet, or classes happening through Zoom, the medium that we are using right now. So yes, that all that appeared difficult initially, but eventually it was achieved. And so, in my opinion, what is yet to come, and a more formidable challenge to the education sector, would be to bring the students back to the classes, uh, so to rebuild and retain the attractiveness of face-to-face education, face-to-face or offline education, so to say, in the post-COVID normal, that is going to be a huge challenge. Because all said and done, though it is, I mean, ironical also, that human beings as such are very adaptive creatures, But once we have adapted ourselves to that change, to a certain change, we do not like frequent changes. We enter that sort of a comfort zone, right? And so working from home being one aspect of that zone, saving on the travel time being another aspect of that zone. So once we enter that zone, it is very difficult. It would be very difficult for the system to pull us out of that zone. And yeah, so in my analysis, uh, it could very well be that in the name of meeting the needs of the education industry during the COVID pandemic, we might have ended up creating a competitor in online teaching, and yes, this competitor is likely to challenge the very existence of chalk and talk learning, of traditional teaching methods, and in the near future, if not too soon. Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to add one thing, that human beings are really not, of course, they now change is the only constant for us, so we have to adapt to the changes, but we can adapt easily to the changes that bring us more comfort, and we get lazy,
Absolutely.
but we're not okay with big changes. Right?
Right.
It's still, people are dying to get on a plane, people are dying to travel, they just want to get out of their house, just want to party, they want to do a lot of things, but whatever brings them comfort and laziness, they're absolutely okay with it.
Yeah, that's so true.
So now, Dr. Sunanda, what do you have to say about the leadership roles and representation of women in the legal profession? I don't think that I could ask this question to anybody other than you.
Okay, thank you so much, Bharti, for the question. Actually, mm, you see, if statistics are to be believed, apart from some very elite law firms or large corporate, or the legal departments of large corporate houses, or public universities like mine, where like the University of Delhi, where gender does not seem to be a matter insofar as employability is concerned, right? The representation of women in the legal profession, by and large, is abysmally low, and that is a sad reality, right? Apart from that, I think there is a huge earnings gap. Women in private practice, they earn significantly less than their male counterparts, and so is the case with women working in corporate legal departments. And yes, there are reasons which are visible. This discrimination is like plain and simple and palpable and quite apparent. uh, and So yes, we need to do something about it. And uh, same is the case with as in, it doesn't uh, give me a very happy feeling to say that insofar as women in leadership roles is concerned, again, there are not many examples to emulate. And the sad part is that instead of honestly trying to understand the reason why, we just choose to blame everything on that very cliched metaphor of women hitting the glass ceiling. That women who choose family and childbirth, they do not, obviously, they cannot get to reach leadership roles. That is what the mindset is, which is not entirely true, Bharti, because that would be uh, I don't know whether I should put it this way or not, but then I think I should use this choose this expression only, that it would be a very stigmatized and a very parochial assessment, very narrow assessment of the situation.
Right.
You see, yeah. So we as companies, as law firms, as universities, or any organization for that matter that has any interface with law, because we are talking of the legal profession right now, we need to do an honest assessment. For example, we need to look at our own promotion processes to see whether we are sufficiently valuing and investing in our women workforce. Presently I see a lot of talent either being ignored or being just squandered away. And and that notion that if you work hard, you will eventually get your place under the sun uh, seems to be quite bookish. It is still a policy in many spaces, insofar as the legal profession is concerned. Yeah.
Again, wonderfully explained, Dr. Sunanda, and I couldn't agree more with you. You were very, wise with your words. So I would not like to add something to ruin that because I am so not poised with my words. So, moving on, as an academician who has been educating young minds into becoming, motivated legal professionals, lawyers, judges, etc. And so, what are the core values that you would like to share with your peers and future incumbents into the legal profession?
Core values.
I'm
Okay.
sure you have a lot to say here, and I'm waiting.
Actually, Bharti, I'm not too sure if I'm like mature and wise enough to be ready to dole out nuggets of wisdom already. But yes, I can definitely share some of the core values that I strive to live by. And one of which is share as much you can, as much as you can. And this is a sharing of knowledge. So reach out and collaborate. And see, the point is that law academicians as such, they are a very closeted kind of a society. So intermingling and networking with other disciplines, whether it's anthropology, whether it's social work, whether it's political science, or within the legal fraternity itself, say with legal practitioners, right? It opens up new avenues of cooperation and learning. And yes, that is what we should strive for. Uh, yeah, and that brings me to a thought that I think I should share. Recently I read this wonderful, I revisited that wonderful quotation given by Charles Darwin, or wonderful phenomena or rule given by Charles Darwin ages ago, that he gave us survival of the fittest, right? That is about natural selection. In the present era, I was just wondering if it might just be refined into survival of the most collaborative and the most proactive. And actually we can test the truth of this statement, because if we look back, history is kind of pregnant with facts that indicate that species that were like overly aggressive or overly selfish or overly too competitive or totally isolated, they perished more quickly than the others. So yes, interact with the industry, reach out, and if you want to seek help, uh, uh, help others if you have the capacity. And yes, this definitely includes sharing your knowledge as much as possible instead of keeping it under lock and key. So yes, I'm a believer of copy left rather than copyright, you know, and yeah. So and another value, and I believe that would be the last point that I would want to share is that try to be a part of some solution instead of a problem. You know, you see, it's very easy to whine and complain, and but that usually doesn't get you anywhere. You know, and if you just look around right now, as in whether it is in the context of getting developing the COVID vaccine or ensuring its accessibility to all and sundry, whether it's the challenges that the justice delivery system um, has been facing during these COVID times, or the difficulties of the education sector, whatever it may be, you know, it is actually trying to seek a solution that has generated some movement or given a positive result than anything otherwise. Yeah, so that's my 2 pence worth of wisdom.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunanda. And I'm really happy that we had this great conversation. I mean, I got to learn a lot from you today. Thank you so much for sharing such great insights with us. And now I cannot wait to, having a chat with you again in the future on maybe some other trending topics in the international legal industry.
Sure, Bharti. Anytime. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to interact.
Thank you so much. It was lovely having you. And for our viewers, if you like this chat with Dr. Sunanda Bharti, please like and share this video. And also, please subscribe to the Clickaway Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming from industry leaders. This is Bharti for LexTalk, signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.